My son, the boy I raised from a crying toddler to a college graduate, looked me in the eye and said I wasn't his real family. I'd poured every dime, every sleepless night, every heartbeat into his future, only to be shoved out of his graduation party like a stranger who'd wandered in off the street. But when I found a secret trust fund my mentor left me, worth millions, I bought the hall hosting his celebration and turned his world upside down. Stick around because this isn't just revenge. It's a comeback that rewrote my life. Comment if family ever broke your heart, and subscribe for more stories of rising from the ashes. I'm Ruth Caldwell, 58 years old, and this story starts in a small town in Oregon where the air smells like pine and regret. I was a foster mother, the kind who opened her home to kids who had nowhere else to go. My life was a revolving door of little faces, some staying a week, some a year, but one stayed forever. Ethan. Ethan came to me at 3, a wiry kid with big brown eyes and a scream that could shatter glass. His mom was gone, his dad in prison, and his file said unadoptable like it was a curse. I didn't care. I saw a spark in him, a fight to be loved. I was 32, single, working as a librarian by day and a waitress at night. My house was small, a 2-bedroom with creaky floors and a leaky roof, but it was home. Ethan clung to me like I was his lifeline, and I decided he was mine too. By the time he was 5, I adopted him legally. It wasn't easy, paperwork, court hearings, social workers poking into my life, but I fought for him. I sold my car to pay the lawyer, worked doubles to afford his school supplies. Ethan called me Mama Ruth back then. He'd draw me pictures, stick them on the fridge with mismatched magnets. I'd read him bedtime stories, his head on my shoulder, his tiny hand gripping my sleeve. We weren't rich. My savings went to his soccer cleats, his asthma inhalers, his field trips. I skipped vacations, new clothes, even dentist visits to keep him fed and happy. He was my world, and I thought I was his. When Ethan hit high school, things shifted. He got quiet, distant. Teenagers, I told myself. He joined the debate team, aced math, dreamed of college. Big dreams I couldn't afford. But I found a way, always did. I took out loans, picked up extra shifts at the diner. Ethan got scholarships, but I covered the gaps. Textbooks, dorm fees, a laptop. He'd hug me tight before leaving for campus, saying, "Mama Ruth, I'll make you proud." College changed him. He met Sophia, his girlfriend, a girl with a perfect smile and a family that owned half the town. Their parents had a mansion, a lake house, a legacy. I was just the foster mom with a sagging porch. Ethan started calling less. Visits dropped to holidays, then not even those. Busy with school, he'd text. I believed him, sent care packages, cookies, socks, notes saying love you always. He rarely replied. When he graduated high school, I cried at the ceremony alone in the bleachers. He waved from the stage, but his eyes were on Sophia's family, clapping louder than I ever could. I told myself it was fine. He was growing up. 4 years later, Ethan was set to graduate college. Pre-law, top of his class. I'd paid for his cap and gown, sent money for his senior trip. He invited me to the banquet party, said it would be special. I believed him. I drove 3 hours to the banquet hall, a fancy place with chandeliers and marble floors. I wore my best dress, navy blue, ironed twice. My hair was pinned up, gray streaks shining. I wanted to look like a mom he'd be proud of. I arrived early, clutching a gift, a leather journal I'd saved for months to buy. The hall was buzzing, balloons in school colors and a banner reading, "Congrats, Ethan." I skeined for him, my heart racing. A young woman in a staff uniform stopped me at the entrance. "Name?" she asked, checking a list. "Ruth Caldwell," I said, smiling. Her brow furrowed. "You're not on here. Wait, are you the foster mom?" My smile faltered. "Yes, Ethan's mother." She hesitated, then pointed to a side door. "They said you're helping with setup, back there." My stomach twisted. Helping with setup? I wasn't staff. I followed her through the side door, into a cramped storage room. Cardboard boxes, a wobbly folding table, a single chair with a torn cushion. "Wait here," she said, then left. I stood there, journal in hand, Driss catching on a splintered crate. Minutes passed, Music started outside, laughter, clinking glasses. I peeked through a small window in the door. Ethan was there, in a crisp suit, laughing with Sophia's parents. No one looked my way. The staff girl returned, apologetic. They said you're not on the guest list, something about keeping the event streamlined. But you can stay here, help with drinks later. Streamlined. My son's graduation, and I was a logistical problem. I sat down, the chair creaking. The journal felt heavy in my lap. I heard Sophia's mom give a toast through the wall. To Ethan, our new son and his bright future with our family. Cheers erupted. My name wasn't mentioned. My chest burned, not with tears, but with something sharper. Betrayal, raw and jagged. I'd raised him, loved him, given him everything, and he'd let them erase me. Sophia's mom kissed his cheek. He smiled like she was his mother. I stood, smoothed my dress, and walked to the door. Peeked out again. Ethan was dancing with Sophia, their faces glowing under string lights. I wasn't in the picture, not even in the background. I was nobody. The staff girl returned with an empty tray of glasses. "Are you okay?" she asked, eyes soft. I nodded, but my hand shook. "I'm fine," I lied. She hesitated, then left. I sat back down, staring at the journal. His future, my sacrifice, their party. Something snapped inside me, not loud but quiet, like a thread finally breaking after years of strain. I didn't owe them my silence. I didn't owe them my dignity. I pulled out my phone, hands steady now. 3 calls. First, to the caterer. Cancel the dessert service for tonight's event. Yes, I'm the one who paid. Second, to the DJ. No second set tonight. Payments withheld. Third, to the venue. Post-party brunch is off. Non-refunded. Each call was calm, final. I hung up, slipped the phone in my purse, and walked out the side door. The night air was cool, the parking lot quiet. I didn't look back. Let them notice the dessert trays never arrived. Let them hear the music stop early. I drove home 3 hours in the dark, radio off. My mind replayed every moment. Ethan's laugh, Sophia's mom's toast, the empty chair. I wasn't angry yet. I was awake. For the first time in years, I saw clearly. Back home, my house felt different. The living room, with its faded couch and Ethan's old soccer trophies, wasn't a shrine anymore. It was a cage I'd built, thinking love meant disappearing. I kicked off my shoes, sat on the floor. My phone buzzed. Text from Ethan. "Mom, where are you? Why's the DJ leaving?" Then Sophia. "This is so embarrassing. What's going on?" I didn't reply. Let them scramble. Let them feel the absence of what I'd given. Morning came, gray and heavy. I made coffee, black, no sugar. My hands didn't shake anymore. I opened my banking app, checked the charges. Unauthorized. $2,000 for a graduation pre-party and a rooftop bar? Sophia's Venmo note, "Ruth's covering it, go big." My breath caught. They'd used my card, my savings, without asking. I'd paid for their champagne while they planned to stick me in a storage room. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was calculated. I scrolled through my emails, found the venue contract. My name was on every payment, $15,000 total. Deposits, catering, decor. I'd sold my mother's old jewelry to cover the last chunk. They hadn't contributed a dime. I walked to my bedroom, opened a drawer, and pulled out a box of old papers. Bills, receipts, letters I hadn't touched in years. I wasn't sure why I started digging. Maybe instinct, maybe desperation. Then I saw it. A sealed envelope, unfamiliar, addressed to me. The handwriting was Clara's, my old foster care mentor. She'd been my rock, teaching me how to navigate the system, how to love kids who didn't trust love. She died 10 years ago, but her lessons stayed with me. I opened the envelope, heart pounding, inside a letter and a legal document. "Ruth, you gave so much to others. This is for you. I set up a trust fund in your name. $50,000 invested wisely. It's yours when you need it most." The document was a trust agreement, dated 15 years ago. Clara had invested in a tech fund, now worth $3.2 million. My jaw dropped. I'd never known. She'd hidden it, knowing I'd give it away to kids like Ethan if I found it too soon. I called my bank. The manager confirmed it. $3.2 million, accessible immediately. My hands shook, not from anger, but from possibility. Clara had seen me, even when I couldn't see myself. She'd given me a lifeline. I didn't tell Ethan, didn't tell anyone. I hired a lawyer, Grace Nguyen, to verify the trust. It's ironclad, she said. You're a millionaire. I sat in her office, staring at the papers, feeling like I was dreaming. Grace leaned forward. What do you want to do with this? I didn't know yet, but I knew what I didn't want. To stay invisible, to keep funding a life that excluded me, to let Ethan and Sophia rewrite my story. I drove back to the banquet hall the next day, alone. It was quiet, staff cleaning up streamers and confetti. I asked for the manager. I want to know about buying this place, I said. He blinked, surprised. It's not for sale. I said everything is for sale, my voice steady. Grace had already done the research. The hall's owners were in debt, bleeding money. My trust could cover it. I made an offer, $2.8 million
cash through an LLC for anonymity. The deal moved fast. Within weeks, I owned the hall. Every chandelier, every marble tile, every storage room. Ethan didn't know. Sophia didn't know. I kept it quiet, biding my time, planning my next move. I started small, sent notices to event planners, new ownership, all bookings under review. Ethan and Sophia had reserved the hall for a post-graduation brunch. Canceled, no explanation. I heard through a friend they were furious, scrambling for a new venue. My phone lit up with texts. Ethan, Mom, why is the hall canceling? Did you do this? Sophia, this is ridiculous. Fix it. I didn't respond. Let them stew. Let them feel what it's like when the ground shifts under you. I poured money into the hall, renovated the storage room into a cozy lounge, added a community event space, and hired local artists to paint murals. The hall became a hub for foster care fundraisers, a place where kids like Ethan could feel seen. Months passed. Ethan graduated, moved in with Sophia's family, started law school. I didn't hear from him, but I heard about him. Social media posts, Sophia's Instagram stories. They acted like I'd never existed. I focused on me. Took painting classes, something I'd loved as a kid but gave up for Ethan. Bought a new dress, not for anyone else, just because it felt good. Started therapy, unpacking years of putting others first. The trust fund grew. Investments Clara chose were gold. I donated to foster care programs, set up scholarships, but the hall was my anchor. I named it Clara's Haven, a tribute to the woman who saw my worth. A year later, I planned the reveal. The hall was hosting a community gala, free for foster kids and families, with music, food, and speeches. I invited Ethan and Sophia, anonymously, through a community outreach group. They RSVP'd, clueless. The gala night sparkled. Tables were set with blue linens, candles flickering. Kids laughed, chasing balloons. I wore an emerald dress, hair loose, no longer hiding my gray. I felt like Ruth again, not just Mama Ruth. Ethan and Sophia arrived, dressed to impress, mingling with local bigwigs. I watched from the sidelines, heart pounding. They didn't know I owned the hall, didn't know I'd funded this night. They thought they were networking. The program began. A foster teen gave a speech, thanking Clara's Haven for her scholarship. The crowd clapped. I stepped on the stage, microphone in hand, my voice steady. "Welcome to Clara's Haven," I said. "I'm Ruth Coldwell, the owner." Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan's face froze, his wineglass halfway to his mouth. Sophia's smile vanished. I held up a photo of Clara, my mentor, her kind eyes shining. I said, "This hall is a tribute to a woman who taught me to love without limits, but it's also a lesson. I raised a son, gave him everything, my money, my heart, my life, and he put me in a storage room at his graduation." The crowd murmured. Ethan's eyes dropped to the floor. "Ethan," I said, locking eyes with him, "you let them erase me, but I'm not invisible anymore. This hall, this night, this legacy, it's mine." Sophia stood, tried to leave. Ethan grabbed her arm, whispered something. She sat back down, face red. I continued. "This place is for second chances, for kids who need family, for people who choose love over status." The crowd clapped, some in tears. I stepped off the stage, heart racing, but light. Ethan approached me later, alone, his tie loosened. "Mama Ruth," he said, voice breaking, "I didn't know how much you hurt me." I nodded, not softening yet. "You didn't think about me at all." He flinched. "I was wrong. Sophia pushed, but I let her. I'm sorry." His eyes were wet, the boy I'd raised peeking through. "I want to believe you," I said, "but apologies don't fix trust. Show me." He nodded, swallowing hard. "What can I do?" I handed him a flyer for the hall's foster program. "Start here. Help kids like you were." The gala ended, but the night didn't. Ethan stayed, talking until midnight. He admitted Sophia's family pressured him to fit in, to distance himself from his foster roots. I listened, not excusing, but understanding. Sophia sent a text the next day. "I'm sorry. I was selfish." I didn't reply. Her words were hollow, like her smile at the party. Ethan, though, showed up. He volunteered at the hall, mentored kids, rebuilt what he'd broken. Months later, Clara's Haven was thriving. Fundraisers, art classes, a safe space for foster families. Ethan became a regular, his laugh echoing through the halls again. Not the polished law student, but the boy who loved my cookies. I stood in the lounge one evening, once the storage room, now bright with murals and soft chairs. Ethan joined me, holding a coffee. "You made this," he said. "I'm proud of you." I smiled, the first real one in years. "I'm proud of me too," I said. We hugged, not like before, but like equals. I wasn't just his mom anymore. I was Ruth, whole, seen, unstoppable. Clara's trust had given me money, but her love had given me back myself. If life shuts you out, don't beg for a seat. Build your own table. Fill it with people who see you. And if someone tries to erase you, show them who you are. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, share your comeback stories below, and let's raise a glass to second chances.